Hi everyone, my name is Colette Wilcox and I'm the instructor here for the criminal procedure class. And I wanted to check in with you. I absolutely hate doing these videos, but I feel like it's part of my job to do it. So you can feel more connected to me. I hope you will feel that I'm more approachable. And I just wanted to do a wrap up of the first week of Module 1. And I wanted to let you know that when I'm grading these discussion boards and your assignment, in particular the case brief, I want an obvious reference to the reading. I want to be able to see that you're reading and understanding the material. So make reference to the material. Do that with a quote or at the very least, some kind of paraphrase of the material with a citation. Just to remind you, the discussion board deadlines, I do check the dates, so you want to make your initial post on Wednesday before midnight, and then you want to reply to 2 of your classmates' posts by Sunday at midnight. Also, I wanted to make a comment about the organization of your responses on discussion board, and this works as well for your papers. What is really good, it seems very mechanical, but what is really good when you're writing is to go ahead and put a topic sentence at the beginning of your paragraph. For example, the exclusionary rule was developed to suppress evidence in cases where the police use illegal tactics to do a search. And the rest of those supporting sentences in that paragraph will be used to support that topic sentence. One thing that I recommend if you feel like you're at a loss for developing topic sentences is go ahead and use the question as a topic sentence. Just turn it around into a statement. So for example, the discussion board module 1, discussion 1 was whether the will of people should take precedence. So your topic sentence for a paragraph could be, yes, the will of the people should take precedence in the government. And then you support that with the reasons why you think that's true. Then in the next paragraph, you restate the question, what if the will of the people was wrong, such as during the blatant racism in the 60s? So turn that around to be a statement. The will of the people was wrong in the 60s when segregation was prevalent. And support that with how that can be reconciled and how we can change that. We can vote, we can educate, and you support that all with the topic sentence. So I hope that clarifies what I was looking for when I was talking about organization. And now we get to a very important topic, which is citation. It's very important that in college writing, so this is not a specific requirement for this course. It should actually be for all your writing throughout your college academic career, is that you want to cite every single source for any information that is not your own. In case briefs, for example, that's going to be practically every single sentence, because everything in your case brief is going to come from the case itself or come from the book. Usually not from any other outside sources. We have a lot of material to cover, so I'm sure you won't have a lot of time to do other outside research beyond the book and beyond the case itself. And think about it this way, that in the academic world, when you make a statement and you do not cite that statement and give credit for the person that made that statement, some people in academics see that as theft of their ideas. And so in college, it becomes a much more important issue. I don't know if it's as carefully monitored in high school, but certainly in the academic world, it's a much more serious violation and is seen as plagiarism to make a statement without giving credit to the source. And in case briefs, as I said in the announcement that I made on Canvas, that sometimes that statement that you're making should be attributable to a U.S. Supreme Court justice. The discussion boards were very, very interesting and entertaining. I found one particular student's experience in probation and parole very engaging and very interesting, and added a lot to the discussion about the exclusionary rule. So I appreciate all of your comments and bringing in your particular perspective really helps all of us understand the material. The discussion on the will of the people and what to do if the will of the people was wrong was also wonderful. I loved all of your insights into the discussion, and I hope each of you take time to read all the responses of your classmates. I want to tell you, if you feel kind of dinged on your case briefs because I took points off for no citation or no references, I want to let you know every single student response, so you don't feel alone. Every one of you did not use any. Actually, there was one student that, or maybe two students that used some citation, but very little. The rest of the students used no citation at all, and that it's absolutely imperative that you use citations. In fact, in case briefs, you'll probably be using a citation for every single sentence. Now, I have heard from some students that they're told that they can only do one citation per paragraph. I would err on the side of caution, however, in situations, especially in legal and academic worlds. Go ahead and cite every single sentence, even if it seems repetitive, even if it seems tedious. And while I understand some people think that one citation per paragraph is enough, I would caution against doing that. I would do a citation for every single statement that is not your own, any information that does not come from you, and in case briefs, that would be pretty much every sentence. And I wanted to just wrap up this module and talk about the balancing that Professor Samha, the writer of the criminal procedure textbook, wants to emphasize. That we are in criminal procedure here in the United States trying to balance people's private liberty interests and our civil protections, our civil rights. We're trying to balance all of those things, our civil protections, our privacy interests. We're trying to balance that with keeping our community safe. So as one of the wonderful classmates, one of you all talked about, and I thought this was such an excellent point, sometimes the police want to, they believe that the person is guilty and they want to catch them. And so they feel like if they violate that person's civil liberties, then that is justified because they know they're a criminal. They know they have lots of drugs in the car. However, I could talk about this for hours, but we want to make sure we don't do that because it's a slippery slope. The reason why the founding fathers of our country believed in these amendments and believed in the Constitution is because they saw the great and egregious violations that were taken in Great Britain. And they didn't want to have a slippery slope in a environment where the government can come and search for no reason at all and do that arbitrarily and capriciously. So having been in the criminal justice field for over 20 years, you can see and we'll talk maybe some more about this in future videos, but you can see why we don't want to live in that world. If we think about Nazi Germany, that's what they did to the Jews. They would search them for no reason and you know, find ways to take them off to the concentration camps. But if you're asking yourself the question, okay, is it too high of a price to pay to exclude that evidence when that person is clearly guilty? Say a search was illegally performed and they found tons and tons of drugs. Clearly that person was guilty of possessing all of those drugs, and maybe even there's a large inference, if someone's found with a lot of drugs, that they're actually dealing in drugs. So if their civil liberties are violated, if that search was unconstitutional, and we end up suppressing the evidence through a suppression motion in front of the court, is that too high of a price to pay? That is what this question in Module 1 is asking, and I'd like for you to all consider that. If this is too high a price to pay, we want to balance those rights. I'd like to hear your comments if you'd like to post any comments to that particular question. But we look forward to Module 2, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.